Howdy everybody, it's Amy from Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting. How are y'all doing this evening? This is Saturday evening, May whatevereth. I'm horrible with keeping tracks of dates. And I thought I'd try a little whip and chat here. I don't do these very often. And for those of you that have been on my channel before, part of the reason that I have trouble doing these is because my eyes don't work that great. So I can talk about that in a little bit, but I have to bend pretty close to the canvas to see the symbols, which means that I usually try to put my head in the camera. So I don't want you guys to just look at the top of my head, but I thought I'd try it for a little while. I can usually go a little bit and kind of stretch out a bit and get some of this done. So for those of you that have never seen a whip and chat, WIP stands for work in progress, and it's just a chance for us to sit down and chatter while we work on a diamond painting. But first I wanted to show you guys something. I had done my unboxing of New Craft Day the other day. I think that was the last video that I posted, and I had shown the clock kit that I got. Well, I did go ahead and finish that, and here it is. Well, I finished the diamond painting part. I thought I'd do an assembly of the clock probably tomorrow for another whip and chat, but I just wanted to show you real quick how this came out. I love those rhinestone look to those larger diamonds here, and I'm zoomed in pretty far. Let me see if I can adjust that so you can get a better feel for how this looks. So the diamond painting part is done, and I sealed this because the one trouble I had on this was the glue. There were sections of this that weren't very sticky, and it was especially noticeable along the bottom. So I did end up having to use some dot stick in the end. I tried really hard not to, but in the end, and it was frustrating, so I said, okay, let me just put some dot stick down. I have this Make Market over at Michael's, also has a brand of this. I got this one. I think you can get it online. Maybe an online purchase here. But I don't know if you can see this. It's very watery, which means all I had to do was just dab a little bit on my finger and wipe it around, and that gave it enough stick for me to finish. And the reason I prefer this over regular glue, I actually did try regular glue for a small part of this, but it was stringy and kind of made a mess down here of where I put the glue, and I really didn't like it. The difference with this is it's so thin that it doesn't create anything stringy or pile up the glue at all, because it's almost like water. I mean, you should be able to hear that. There, put it over by my microphone there. So it's very liquidy, so it's easy to spread, and it only takes a tiny bit. You can probably do 100 canvases with one bottle. So I highly recommend for any diamond painter, especially if you're buying budget-friendly kits. But I've had to use these even on Diamond Art Club and some of the other higher-end kits when you just have a spot that loses its stick for whatever reason. Maybe you stuck a piece of paper on it and had to pull it off, or plastic, or left your tray stuck on it. All sorts of reasons why you can have a canvas lose some stick. So this stuff works really well. You just spread it on, wait about 15 minutes, and you can get back to diamond painting. So I did have to do that on this, and I covered up, maybe a little less than half, about a third of it, because when I started working on it, the stick felt pretty good, but then I put it away for about 6 or 7 hours and came back to it, and the stick wasn't so good. So I'm not sure if it was a different type of adhesive that dried out because I left the cover off during that time. But I did need to use the dot stick, so I sealed it because of that, because I wanted to make sure that these diamonds stayed down. And what I sealed it with is something that I found at Michael's. I had never seen it before. It looks like this. It is water resistant glue and sealer that repels water indoor and outdoor. And it was very shiny. You can almost tell by that silver coat there. I think it's called Brilliant Gloss is what it says there at the top. So I did seal it, but I thought it might be a fun little video tomorrow to try to do the assembly of the clock together. But I just wanted to show you that it didn't take long. And I did have some issues with the stick, but you can kind of tell there from the shine on the background. You can see the sealant on that. So if you shine it in the wrong light, I probably need to fix up a couple little spots on there to make it a little more even. But that's how it came out. So that's my clock. So what am I using to, well, let's start with what am I working on today. Well, I decided to go ahead and enter an event, and the event is run by Alyssa. It is for the month of May into early June, and I forget what the event is called, honestly. But if you go to the Diamond Art Club or DAC Canada Facebook page, you can find all the information there. Alyssa does have a YouTube channel, and she's the one that does the Friday previews for all the Diamond Art Club releases. And she has some health problems, so she actually prefers to do events on Facebook. So she will pop up a video here and there, but most of the event is going to be run on her Facebook page. And I thought, you know, the prizes sounded kind of like fun, and the event just sounded like fun, and I need something to push me to get some of these bigger canvases done, because I've been doing a lot of little stuff lately, which I don't mind, but I need to get a bigger one done. So what I'm working on is Octopus Shipwreck here. And I tried to do an unboxing with this earlier in the week when I decided to join the event, because the deadline was fast approaching. So I did a really quick unboxing, because when I went to the closet and picked this out, the box had been unopened. So I knew I hadn't done it on my channel, obviously, but I didn't like how the video came out. It was done really short, really late at night, so I just deleted it. So you guys haven't seen this one from me before. So this is, can't remember, it's one of my more recent purchases. It may have been Black Friday or somewhere around there. So 94 by 70 centimeters. And I believe it has, let me look, 64 colors. And it has a few ABs and a couple fairy dust. Nothing too sparkly or special drills, but it does have several in there. But we've got kind of an ocean scene. I love ocean scenes. With an octopus and jellyfish and a couple sharks there and a whale in the background and a treasure chest there. So that's why it is Octopus Shipwreck. So we got the shipwreck. So that's what I'm working on here. And the way I kitted it up, I had to grab what I had, which was a couple more of these Harbor Freight containers. And one of the things I noticed with this one, and the reason I went to Harbor Freight containers, was because there are a lot of blues in this. And each of those bags, let me find one here. I tried not to stuff them. I only put one bag in each of these for the ones that had multiple colors or multiple bags of a color. But I've got just all the blues and dark blues and purples in this one. And then most of the rest of the colors in this one. Each one of these holds 24 containers, so there's 48. And then for all the smaller bags, I just use leftovers. Even some of these are still empty, but I get these at craft stores. They're usually in the bead work section, but that's what I got for the rest of them. So those are my containers and how I kitted it up. And usually I don't like to overfill containers, so what I did for the extra girls is they are here waiting on me. So as I finish off some colors, I've got more in here so you can see some of these colors. There are a lot of drills of the darker colors. So there's 3 more bags of 939. Here's 3 more bags of 310, and a lot of other blue ones in there. So it does have a lot of blue, as you would expect from an ocean scene. And my wax in my single placer, I use this a lot because I really like the stickiness of this. This is from Randa's Crafty Corner. Let me get it in the light. And this is Mountain Rain is the scent. But I was trying to see if I could find the name of the type of wax. But I've been using this a long time and I've barely scratched the surface on it. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting is kind of bad because it's finally late at night, so the dogs are settling in. But I love this wax because it is so sticky. I do also use glue dots from time to time, but this I really like. So I've been using that mostly. And then in my multi-placer, I have, again, Randa's Crafty Corner. This is Cucumber Melon Scented Putty. And if you've been on my channel, you know I only have one hand-turned pen. So it is the pen that I always use. And again, lighting's kind of bad this evening. But it's kind of got glitter, darker, sparkly colors. And my multi-placer right now, I only have a 4-placer in here. Typically for Diamond Art Club, I use longer multi-placers, but this was the one I had in, so I've just kind of left it. And I like a little bit smaller multi-placer for some diamond paintings if there are spacing issues, because that way you're only laying down maybe 4 or 5 drills in each row, so you can adjust them if you need to. You're not doing whole long rows that go crooked on you and all that. So I actually prefer the multi-placer. My tray is my little art dot tray. I like these. I do have an order, and finally I broke down and bought the full set that has larger trays in it as well. I think the set has 6 larger and 4 smaller trays, but I like how tall these are, and I like the way the opening is a little bit up from the bottom, so you don't have a lot of spillage. It is a little bit small, but I also like how I can hold it in my hand comfortably, so I do like that tray. It works really well for confetti, which this one so far isn't really big on confetti, but I'm sure it will at some point have some. We're getting into some of the fish and other things. But I did start this one a few days ago, but I've actually been having some trouble with it because, as you can see, this is a little dark for an ocean picture. A lot of the ones I've done in the past have been, you know, lighter blues, and this one is pretty dark. And that's because we're at the bottom of the ocean. So we have the shipwreck and the octopus and the jellyfish. We're sitting at the bottom of the ocean where there isn't a lot of light that comes in. So it is naturally dark at the bottom of the ocean. So that doesn't surprise me too much, but what it means is that even with premium companies, dark drills have some troubles. And in this particular kit, the dark drills are giving me a little bit of a fit. The black and that very, very dark blue, the 935 that I was showing you, I think it was these 2 darkest colors. The drills don't fit very well on this canvas. The spacing is really, really tight. So I have the light on here. I can even brighten it, and you can't see anything between those drills. There's one little tiny space there, but that's in the green. I'll turn it on even brighter. It's a really tight fit. I haven't had any pop, but I'm really having to push to get some of those drills down in there. And then it kind of makes the other colors off just slightly. So it's been a little frustrating picking through the dark blue and the black drills, trying to pick out the best ones and using them. And maybe that's why there are so many. But it's been a bit frustrating, so I get happy when I can already feel something trying to pop. There, that's a black one. But I get all happy when I get the background done and can fill in some of the lighter colors that don't have the same trouble with the drill sizes and all that. So that's kind of how I've been working on this. This is 2 sections. This is the release paper that does punch out. but that first row actually ended only here, so I've been doing 2 rows in each section. So the next one will come across here and go up, and so this is the one I'm finishing up right now. So let me shut up about all of that and see if I can pick a color. There, looks like star. We're getting into some dark greens here, so let me rearrange things a little bit there, because those help hold my canvas from slipping off the side of the table. So you may see my arm stretch over from time to time, so we'll work on a very dark green here, 895, and talk about the aurora. So how many of you guys were able to see the aurora borealis last night? We have a big solar storm, and it's going on again tonight, but unfortunately here in West Texas it's been cloudy and rainy, which normally makes us happy because we have water issues and concerns all the time. So rain is a happy occasion here. We get a lot of our rain in the spring, and so rain is a good thing, unless you're trying to see a solar eclipse, as we were in April, or the aurora. So tonight should be another night where it should be visible. So when you get a chance, go walk outside and look up. And even if you can't see it, go ahead and try to take a picture with your camera, because your camera is more sensitive to some of those colors that are in the aurora, and you can sometimes see it in the picture from your camera. Oh, there's another drill that just isn't going to push down there. Just too tight. So we'll pop that one out and toss it. So, I hope some of you can see it. I saw lots of pictures from my friends on Facebook last night, because the Weather Service, the National Weather Service where I work, actually has a space weather unit. So people don't think about weather as a space weather issue, but there are some concerns with solar storms, especially the really strong ones. They have 5 levels of solar storms, and you can find the National Weather Service Space Weather website and Facebook page and all that, and they do put the forecast for the aurora on there each day, where it can be seen and how strong of a geomagnetic storm we will be experiencing. And tonight's was supposed to be a level 5 out of 5, so it is the extreme level. And why would we need the Weather Service monitoring and reporting these things? Well, the geomagnetic storms can cause some troubles for satellites and sensitive electronics that are in space. So they put out the warnings as a way to let the power grid companies know, and those that have communications or other satellites up there, to turn them away from the sun for a bit and kind of get out of the way and be protected from the energy coming from the sun. So let me know in the comments, have you been able to see the aurora? I almost thought about driving somewhere north today where we could position ourselves to see it, and my hubby, he was even willing to take me. He asked me this morning, he said, do you want to go? We'll go. And I looked at the forecast, and we would have probably had to go all the way out to Arizona or western New Mexico to escape the clouds to the west, with no guarantee that the aurora would make it that far south. Looking, there it is. That's why I can't find it. Color R, a green, wasn't very much of it. But we would have had to do that, or go all the way up towards Arkansas into Oklahoma, and then turn around and come back. Because tomorrow is, of course, Mother's Day. So it just wasn't worth it for that kind of drive. If it had only been a few hours to escape the clouds, it would have been very tempting. And some of the forecasts look like, you know, maybe as close as Childress to Oklahoma City might have some luck. But because there was enough of an unknown about it, I decided maybe next time. I do remember when this happened, but it was about 20 years ago, I think, was the last one where we could see it this far south. So it does happen from time to time, so maybe I'll be around for the next one, hopefully. We shall see. I mean, it could be next year. It could be next week. So there are a couple big sunspots out there with some pretty decent solar flares coming off of them. So this may not be the last one for a while. Who knows? So all that to say, go outside tonight and look up at the sky, point your camera up there and see if you can take a picture and see what you get. I'll just have gray out here. So that's the weather news. Of course, we're in severe weather season, so we've had a few severe thunderstorms out in the area like every evening, and we're under a flood watch for some of the areas. For tomorrow, we're expecting rain again tomorrow, and we've had lots of hail because usually this time of year when we get thunderstorms, they come with giant ice balls. It's just the nature of the beast. So we have had some pretty big hail in the area, luckily not in San Angelo. But a town to our northeast called Ballinger has been hit by a tornado and a couple different hailstorms over the last week. So they've had a tough time out there, but we've been okay here. We have had some decent hailstorms in the past that have caused us to need a new roof and cut down tree branches and all that. But we've been lucky lately, so we'll hope that continues. So how's the weather where you are? Are you in a place where you're seeing all these storms? Or have you been escaping some of that? I say I can't wait till severe weather ends. I love weather. I find it very fascinating. I've seen some fascinating storms this year, some that would be fun to write papers about and everything. But it can also be very tiring when you're working day in and day out with that. Instead of being in the research end, we're in the operations end of the weather business, which means we're the ones working 24/7, putting all the stuff out about the weather. So there's a fair amount of overtime that people work, and after action reviews and other things we do that just makes the work tiring even after the storms are over. Our latest thing has been damage surveys that we've had to go out to do to rate the tornadoes that were in our area. And that's a bit tougher out here in West Texas because most of the land is privately owned, and people don't like the federal government snooping around on their land, even though all we're doing is collecting information for science. It can still be a bit risky to go on private property. Of course, you need permission to do so. But some of these ranches are huge out here, and we can have a tornado that's all over the video. A lot of storm chasers out capturing video of these tornadoes, but we can never get to the damage. So we have to rate them as EF unknown. So the EF scale is a rating for tornado strength, but it's based on damage. So we can't rate a tornado while it's going on because we can't see the damage with our radar, and we're usually not seeing the tornado itself on the radar. We can see the winds, but we're seeing what we call the parent mesocyclone. Typically, the tornado is so narrow that it's hard for our radar beam to see. We just see the strong spin of the mesocyclone associated with it. So we can't really measure the winds that way. Plus, we're looking pretty high up off the ground with our radar. So the only way we can rate tornadoes is after the fact, and we send people out to look at the damage and then try to guesstimate what the wind speed was based on the damage. And that is also a bit tricky because some of that damage will be dependent on the type of construction of the buildings that were hit. So we are definitely not engineers, so we do have to work a little bit harder to try to figure out what the rating is of the tornado. We have a database of pictures with different guesstimated wind speeds, and we'll kind of compare the damage we see to our database of photos and try to come up with a rating based on that. But it does take a lot of time. We have to send out damage survey teams, and they have to be able to first find the damage and then try to figure out and take photos and all that. And it is posted on the internet, so if you are interested in weather and want to learn about tornado damage and all that, you can do a search for National Weather Service DAT, D-A-T. Our DAT database shows all our damage points and photos from past tornadoes over the last several years and what we're doing so far this year. So it will cover the whole country. So if you have friends or family in other places, you can check out and see what we have figured out for those. And the reason why it's so important to get those ratings is because a lot of our research for future storm warning and software to help us warn for storms and all that is based on that historical record. So we want to do our best to get the best rating that we can so that any research that is done off of that database is actually accurate enough to help us out. Because trying to forecast tornadoes is a very tricky thing, even for the most seasoned meteorologists. So we're always trying to find ways to improve. So that's probably enough about that. You came here for diamond painting. So what are y'all working on right now? I've been working on so many different things. My WIP work in progress pile just keeps growing, and I feel bad about it now. I mean, I've never minded having maybe 6 or 7, 8 going at once, but I keep them on my coffee table because my kids are, even though they're around, they're grown up, but my coffee table is getting a decent enough pile of works in progress that I really need to finish some of these. So even though I'm working on this one right now, I haven't touched this one until this whip and chatter, actually, the last hour or so before I recorded it. What I was working on today partially was finishing that clock, but I've also been working on my new craft day butterfly, trying to get that one finished. I have, let's see if I can, nah, I better not. I was gonna lean the camera up. I keep some that I'm really working on right on the back of the couch, so I can just grab them. But I'm afraid I will pop the camera off and create a problem there if I try to show you. So hopefully I can get the 2 sitting on the back of the couch done by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm working on this one because our first check-in for the event is posted. It was posted yesterday, and we have till Sunday to post a progress photo, and whoever posts the progress photo is put in the drawing for the prizes for that week. So I wanted to at least show some progress since I kind of started late on this one. So that's why I'm working on this one tonight, just to get maybe this section done, and then I can take a photo and post it. Now, if you are interested in the event, I think it's already closed for entries, so it may be too late to join in for prize giving, but you can still join in on the Facebook group for posting photos and all the other things that go with an event, because prizes aren't everything. It's hanging out with other people. It's more of a community type thing. But the rules for the prizes and for that Diamond Art Club Canada website is that it has to be licensed. Not necessarily Diamond Art Club, but it has to be from a licensed shop. So I know there are lots of controversies and all that surrounding that, but that each person that runs a channel or Facebook group can kind of decide how they want to do things. And Alyssa has been allowing not just Diamond Art Club for the longest time on there, but she does ask for licensed work. So they're going through a possible name change of the page again. I'm not going to get into all that because it's really not my place, but I will say for that group, they do destashes as well in that group of licensed diamond paintings, but it is a Canada group, which means if you're in the US, expect to pay more for shipping, and if you want to sell paintings, you're selling to mostly Canadians, so you have to be willing to deal with shipping internationally, which I've actually shipped to Canada a couple times. I've shipped a board game that I've sold and a couple other things. It's not hard. You just have to declare everything and have the right customs form. Not a big deal. But it can cost a little bit more to ship to Canada. So that's how I'm working on that. What else is going on diamond painting wise? Well, I kind of hinted at it from my last unboxing. I have a collection I'm working on to unbox with a theme, and it's kind of based on what we've been seeing this spring so far. I did a search for tornado diamond paintings. I have one. I've unboxed that one. I think it's a center one kit with the AI rainbow tornado. But for years I was searching for tornado or storm diamond paintings and couldn't find any. But now with the burst of AI art, suddenly they're everywhere. So I thought, why not? This sounds like fun. So maybe in a couple weeks I'll have enough to show you there, and I can do another unboxing for that. I also did place an order as part of one of those. I had a Michaels $20 credit that I had been sitting on that was going to expire, and they also had a good sale on their online site. So I did buy a couple diamond painting kits, a couple small ones, and then one of the tornado ones that's coming. So I do have a couple smaller make market kits that I can show you guys if you're interested in seeing those. I find the make market kits to be a lot like diamond dots, but very affordable. I mean, even if you go into the store, They're decent sized diamond paintings for $17, I think. And then the big ones are $24, the really big ones. They're rounds, typically. Although on their online store, there's a lot more available. Making sure I'm not getting into that plastic there. So I have a couple landmarks and another one, trying to think what it is. So let's talk about diamond painting purchases this weekend. How many of you survived and how many of you didn't survive all the Dreamer Designs and Diamond Art Club releases today? I ended up not buying any at this point because I'm looking at this and the rest of my stash and thinking, oh no, I have way too many. I need to finish some. So I'm trying to be a little bit more picky about what I get. And they almost got me with a couple. They had a couple, Eau Claire Studio, I think is the name of the group, the art group. They have a lot of AI art from different artists on Eau Claire Studio. They had a rainbow colored waterfall one that was really cool in the sense that it had like 94, 93, 94, somewhere, maybe even, no wait, I think it was 97 once you added the special drills. So 97 colors, light pastel rainbow colors, very bright and colorful. It was tempting, but it also was a bit too out there, I guess. I prefer things that are a little closer to real nature. Like I could picture, even though this is kind of bright, I could picture an ocean looking like this, but that was a bit too far out for my liking. So I talked myself out of it, even though it had 97 colors. I did not go for it because I love all the colors. But I do have one sitting in my cart from their restocks this afternoon. I just haven't found a second one that I really wanted to buy to go with it. So it's just going to sit in my cart until I'm ready to get more. But it is a Van Gogh that I did not know they had. It's a dark red flowers in a vase that looked really cool, not too big. I think it was only like $40, but I only have a 20% off right now. I don't have enough points. I could maybe save $10 at this point. So I'm holding off. And Dreamer Designs, they've been hitting me up lately with some good ones, but not this time. I looked, I mean, nothing against what they had, it just wasn't my style for anything there. Let's go to another blue here. So Dreamer Designs usually does 4 restocks and 4 new ones on Saturdays, but I didn't see anything again that I really needed, which is a relief. So I didn't have to worry about that. So let me know, did you guys get anything? What are you looking forward to that's arriving? How much progress are you doing? And what do you think about stash videos? The logistics of a stash video for my stash, I think, would be a bit crazy. So I have all of my Diamond Art Clubs in a closet downstairs. The problem is it's a big closet because it is partially underneath the stairs. So it's kind of storage that's using stair space. So it can hold a lot. And it is holding a lot. So most of my boxes have been opened because at one point I created a paper log. I decided to start logging what I had so I could like flip through the papers rather than trying to look into my closet when I wanted to pick something out to work on. And then I found the Gems Flow app. So all my paper has now been converted to Gems Flow app, but doing a stash video from a Gems Flow app, it just isn't very exciting. So doing it from the paper would also not be that great, and I didn't continue doing the paper once I went to Gems Flow, so there are several that I don't have paper entries for. Which means in order to do a stash video, I would be needing to pull out all my stash to show it. And I don't know, I could probably do it in several parts, maybe by companies and all that. But as you've seen, I do have several off canvas and smaller ones from Temu and Amazon. Had some of those for a while now. I do have some in a portfolio. That wouldn't be too hard, but just the idea of trying to go through and show them all, I could probably do it in themes. Though if you wanted to see some stash videos, I say plural, maybe that would work, because I could pick them by theme and maybe show you and make sure they're in my Gems Flow app and make sure everything's up to date, because I did kind of most recently in the last few orders I have not updated those, and I typically don't put the off canvas items in because they're so quick that it's not worth tracking in there. I just consider them quick side projects, not big projects that need to be tracked like that. But anyway, all that to say, if it's something that you guys are truly interested in, I could do it by theme. Maybe take landscapes, animals, ocean, butterflies, maybe I'd say by artist, but that I don't really have like full collections from favorite artists, so it would be more subject matter theme probably. And I'm not real big on holiday canvases, although I do have a few now. So I do have a couple waiting for Christmas for next year, so I don't have to buy any Christmas canvases this year. I have one or two actually that I could do for Advent next year, and I do have one Halloween that I picked out well after Halloween. I did not participate in Drills and Chills, and honestly I probably won't this year either. It's a personal choice thing based on how it's, well, I probably shouldn't, I try to stay positive, but I don't like events that are very exclusionary. So it is kind of surprising that I'm doing the one for Canada, but it's not completely exclusionary, because they do allow any company as long as it's licensed. But I probably won't be participating in Drills and Chills. But I will maybe still do a Halloween canvas. So, I keep thinking of different topics I wish I knew from you guys. I kind of wish you were sitting here talking to me, and that way you could answer some of my questions for me. But I'll keep coming up with questions that feel free to put in the comments your answers. And my next question would be, what do you think of events? Do you participate? Do you find them exclusionary? Do you prefer not to do them? I mean, there are pluses and minuses. I think the pluses for me are that it gets me to work on canvases with little, not really deadlines, because most of them don't require finish and all that stuff. It just kind of gives me a little incentive to keep going. on some of mine, since I do have so many WIPs that I need to get done. But I also think that there is a little community aspect to it, because you get to see the excitement of everybody's posts and see their work and see what other diamond paintings are out there that maybe you weren't aware of. So I do like the community aspect of it as well. So I think that's why I'm finally joining in on one. I was going to do the Josephine Wall event. I talked about it. I did a run through of all my J-Wall canvases, and then time got in the way. And it was almost a month in, and I was going to finally kit one up, and then work and other things got busy again. So I have a J-Wall that I bought specifically for the event from the one with the diamond art. It is the Earth Angel one, and it is probably about a third of the way kitted up, and that's as far as I got. So I really haven't called that participating. I haven't joined in on anything. I've been watching, though. I've been enjoying watching the Facebook page side of that, because I'm seeing everybody else's work and how their canvases are going, so I can get a feel for how mine is going to go once I start working on it. But one of these days, so I didn't participate in that one. I did try briefly Drills and Chills last year, but I had a Dreamer's Design canvas that I had picked out, because I wasn't into Halloween and horror and stuff like that. But the one I picked was questionable on whether it fit the theme, and it just wasn't worth it, because they were, the moderators were going through saying yes or no on various canvases, and it just, that's part of the exclusionary issue I didn't like too much, so I just backed out, because mine was called Autumn's Gift, and I've shown the finish on my channel. It was beautiful, but it had a lot of pink colors in it, a lot of flowers, so it didn't really hit the fall theme enough. So they were kind of throwing out others that looked very much like mine, that didn't have enough fall colors and didn't really hit the theme. So even though it had the name Autumn's Gift, it really didn't give those fall Halloween vibes, so I found it easier to just drop out. So anyway, all that to say, it's a personal choice. Some people like events, some don't. Some like some events, some don't. I seem to like the idea of events. I just don't always get my stuff together enough to really participate very much. So we're going to give it a try this time. One more try here with an event and see how it goes. I do enjoy Alyssa's videos. I do enjoy listening to her. I wish I could remember offhand. I think she's called the Diamond Painter, or the Diamond, for some reason the Diamond Stitcher keeps popping in my head, but that's not right. So those of you that have been around YouTube for a while, you're probably laughing at me and trying to shout through your phone right now telling me what the name of her channel is. But anyway, you might check out some of her videos. I do enjoy her. She's very knowledgeable, and so I do watch a lot of her videos, so I thought I'd try supporting her by joining in. So, Mother's Day, that's another thing we can talk about. So, I've had a lot of Mother's Days in the past where I've had to work. My kids are both working tomorrow, and my hubby is probably going to visit his mother. She lives about an hour and a half away, which means I will have the house to myself, which will probably be a pretty good Mother's Day for me. Sometimes just in quiet time to get my stuff done is a good thing. So that's probably how my day will go tomorrow. I told my kiddos not to do anything special or anything like that, because they do a lot for me day to day. And they are both working now, but they're not working in a job that pays a whole lot, so they're still at home. And I just would rather their money went elsewhere. So I should have a pretty quiet, laid-back Mother's Day. Do you guys have any Mother's Day plans out there? Making sure my head's not too much in the way or shadows in the way here, but I'm having a hard time seeing some of the symbols here. I'm way out here on the edge, so I may have to start working in another area and get back to that corner later. Let's see if I can see down here better. So I mentioned my eyes. I do have another eye doctor appointment on Monday, which will be good because it's been a little while since I've been back, and it's with a retina specialist because I do have an eye disease called uveitis. I have talked about it before on my channel, but it's an autoimmune issue where my immune system decides to attack my eyes from time to time, and so I end up with a lot of white blood cell floaters in my eyes, which makes everything blurry, and my retina swells. And for anybody out there who's dealt with macular edema, either for diabetes is another common one, or MS, I was actually tested for all those once the problem first cropped up to make sure I didn't have any of those going on. But it's a pretty rare, the version I have is pretty rare. So that's why they went through a whole battery of tests to figure out what else I might have, and they still don't know. But my immune system does attack my eyes, which makes my macula, the middle part of my retina, swell, and that's where you kind of focus your vision on. So it can't be helped with glasses. I've had cataract surgery already. Both my lenses have been replaced. So I have fake lenses, and for most people, cataract surgery helps you see again. And my vision is a little more clear. But because it's my retina that's swelling, it has nothing to do really with my lenses. So I can tell when lines on paper or letters on a grid start going a little wonky, that
this is a reminder.
My Alexa's going to remind us it's time to take our pills. Have that set up a couple times a day.
This is a reminder. Pills.
So anyway, when my retina is swollen, then like when you go in a bathroom with tile, or look at a floor that has tile or lines on it, they go kind of wonky. So a little bit waviness. So I can tell when my eyes are starting to give me trouble because I can't see very well all the time. But when the lines start getting all weird, then I really know. I really wish I could get up there, but I'll do those later. Lets me know that I need another visit with the eye doctor. I've had a couple surgeries on each eye because they have drained the fluid from both of my eyes to clear out some of the gunk and white blood cells that fill up in there. It's called a vitrectomy. So I've had that done for each eye. That looks like a purple. But over time it does come back again. I've also had several shots in and just below my eye, because steroid shots in your eye is another way that you can get the swelling down. I know, sounds horrible. It can be. It's not too bad. They numb your eye before they give you the shot, but you know, once the needle gets so close, you got this needle coming at your eye, but once it gets to a certain distance, it's just all blurry anyway. But what can happen is it hurts for a couple days after that, and you can sometimes have a blood vessel that was hit, so your eye will bleed a little bit. I would get blisters on my eyes most of the time. I used to have the shots done like every month or two, and they'd switch eyes back and forth. But I would have a blister on my eye for a couple days, which was a bit uncomfortable. But I finally found a new retina specialist, one of the best in the state, that was up in Abilene, about an hour and a half drive. And he's the one that did the last couple surgeries on my eyes, and he has not done any shots. He prefers other methods rather than steroid shots, because those can cause other problems over time. So it's been nice. It's probably been, I don't know, over 2 years since I've had to get shots. So I'd like to keep it that way. But my vision has been wonky again. So I will be going into the eye doctor on Monday to make sure everything's okay. I'm just so used to not being able to see that well that sometimes it is hard to tell when things have gone too far south, because I don't think I ever see. I think it's usually about 20/40 in one eye, 20/50 in the other is normal for me, which is luckily still legal to drive. But I try not to drive at night much. Usually if me and my hubby go out somewhere, I might drive to the place, but if it's after dark, he takes the keys. And I do occasionally go out of town from time to time for my job. And since my hubby is retired, he has a little more free time on his hands, and he has been known to accompany me on some trips out of town so that he can take over the driving, because I don't have a problem moving around San Angelo because I've been here for years, like almost 30 years. So I know my way around here, so I don't have to read street signs. But if you're driving around from out of town, typically you have to be able to read signs a little bit better than I can. I can read them, it's just I can't read them until I'm almost on top of them, and then it's too late to do anything like change lanes or whatever you might need to do. So I try not to drive in cities or places I'm unfamiliar with, at least for very long. I can if I need to, but I just prefer not to. Oh, what else? How long have we been going here? Wow. I thought there's no way I can talk for an hour, much less 30 minutes, but my clock there says 58 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so I can get to that corner. I didn't get very far, but it is filling in nicely. I'll just have a little bit more here, and then I'll take my picture and post it for the event. And then tomorrow, because it'll be pretty quiet around the house, I'll probably pile on a few videos and just schedule them to go up through the week. I'm really excited about getting that clock going, and a lot of people really like the placemat, which is sitting right over there looking at me. So I might work on the placemat a little bit and tell you how that's going. So if you want to answer any of the questions that I posed about events or Aurora stuff or what you're working on, all sorts of just whatever, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And I do appreciate those who have been sending me comments. Diamond Paintings and Dobermans, you've given me lots of comments and little conversations, so I feel like I'm really getting to know you, even though we're actually strangers, but I do appreciate that because the comments and likes and all that does help my channel, which does get more playtime. I'm put on people's searches and stuff more if I have more likes and all that. So it really does help the YouTube algorithms. So if you do like my content, if you want to see more, please consider subscribing or hitting the like button or leaving me a comment. And I know I have a few comments that have been stacking up over the week. Tomorrow is going to be comment answering day as well. So I know I've had a couple questions about links to products. I'll try to sit down on my actual computer instead of my phone, where I have an easier time cutting and pasting and searching and all that. And I will answer all those comments hopefully at some point tomorrow. So for all you moms out there, have a happy and safe Mother's Day. And all you, I shouldn't just say moms, all you caregivers out there that are taking care of children in some way or another. Keeping our next generation safe and educated is how we make the world go round. So your efforts, even though you don't hear about it much, they are appreciated by those around you. So take care, stay safe, be kind to yourself and to others, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.